Hey there. I have gotten the podcast itch. I have just been on my first couple shows and realizing the potential of being on other shows to really maximize my visibility, and it allows me to show up and help a ton of people in a short amount of time. So if you are a coach or consultant, please realize that being a guest host on podcasts can really magnify your audience with a super engaged group of listeners. So first of all, I want to talk about the benefits of being on a podcast show. One being that you get to spend 45, 60 minutes really sharing who you are, your story, your expertise, demonstrating those expertise, sharing case studies, and even providing actionable steps. So in that short amount of time, you have just reached a ton of people with really engaging content. So talk about an ROI on marketing. If you are interested in how to continue to get on different podcast shows and making sure that this is a key marketing component of your business, I have something great to share with you today. Hello, if you are new here, my name is Nicole Mace. I am a systems strategist and digital learning designer for coaches and consultants like you. I love helping them streamline their complete operations and develop dynamite digital products so that they can serve more with less to-dos. So if you are interested in what a ClickUp template that I provide today looks like, then stay tuned to get the entire navigation of what this podcast pitching template can do for you. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this template. There's lots of things that I've built in to make this process as smooth and rinse and repeat as possible. So when I'm thinking about pitching to podcasts, as well as I help my clients do, we are thinking about doing it on a quarterly basis to keep the momentum going, but making sure that we reserve about 1 month per quarter to this process so that the rest of the quarter can be done with recording and promoting those podcast episodes in order to keep their pipeline full. There's a lot of P's in that whole phrasing. So, all right, let's dive in. So let's go ahead and start with the actual workflow list. And we're going to start with the statuses. So I'll open up statuses here so you can see how each stage would work. So first of all, we have a pitch prep. So every quarter there are a list of tasks that need to be done in order to make sure any new listeners are ready to come your way and they're super enticed to get whatever lead magnet is available, and that funnel is completely set up so that all of your marketing efforts are actually maximized on that ROI. So after we've done the quarterly pitch prep, then we move into the actual pitching workflow. So we have a show list that has been curated. Once you have identified which shows are the priority, then you're going to start composing those pitches. And I have templates available in this overall ClickUp template. Next, we're going to be reviewing, and I will say that in review or needs edits may not be necessary if you are working on your own. If you are working with a copywriter or some kind of digital management assistant, then maybe an in review and needs edit status will be helpful. We do want to track when those pitches have been sent and what's the response. Did you win that pitch, or did you lose it, or are they just asking you to circle back at a later time for just some timing purposes? Now, if you've won it, then we need to move to scheduled, make sure that it's a good time for both you and the host to schedule that. And then we want to move it to when you've actually recorded that episode. Now, once you've done that work, you want to make sure to promote it on your side of the house as well, on all of your platforms, so you have maximum exposure and establishing credibility. Now, when that's done, you officially get to move it to the complete status, and it is put into a closed status. So that is the complete workflow there. Okay, so now let's look at some of the components for the pitch quarterly. So updating your website, there's quite a few, 5 different tasks for what you need to look at your website just to make sure it's up to date. And you may only have 2 of those 5 tasks to update, but it's a good check. Next, we want to make sure that your main lead magnet on your website, or the place that you are sending those audience members to, is ready to go, along with that funnel, so that when they opt into the lead magnet, the funnel is prepped and ready. You're able to do some show research and have options list, which I'll show you where that is to be kept. You're going to update your bio. I also provide you with a bio template and some talking points. And of course, I have a framework for creating your talking points as well. All right, so that is the quarterly pitch prep. Now, when you've identified the shows, you have a templated task here that when you're ready to start filling up this show list of shows that you want to pitch to, you can go ahead and select this template here and then just duplicate it. Make sure you're putting it into the space that's going to work best for you. And back into this template, so making sure it's going to the right location. It might take a minute to duplicate, but you'll have another one with all 10 subtasks here, along with the description section that I'm going to show you in just a moment. So we'll open it up, we'll let that duplication work through, but we have some 10 subtests here with each pitch to make sure you have everything you need to move through that pitch process, along with your research about the show and some value topics that you can add to your pitch itself. Another thing I want to point out is to make sure that you have in ClickUp, you can turn on a Click app to make sure that you can email directly from a task. So my recommendation is to do all of your communications to this host, including your pitch, sending out your pitch from this task. That way the email thread is going to come back and forth through this main task. So as things are happening with the communication, you can check off these subtasks and you have everything you need in this one organized space. Let me show you how to turn on that Click app quickly. So if you go down to your bottom right corner and go to settings for your entire workspace, you can go to Click apps and then you can search for email and ensure that the email section is turned on for whatever spaces you're going to be emailing to or from. So I have it turned on for all 5 spaces. I also have it checked or selected that any replies are going to come back into that task. So like I said, communication is completely organized in that one task. All right, let's move on to the custom fields I've added in here. So of course we have assignee. If you are working on your own right now for this marketing effort, you can just hide assignee to declutter the space. We have a due date here. I have these set to reoccurring every 3 months so that you can make sure that those are checked. I want to show you how I do that. So if you select on the due date, you can go to set reoccurring and then you can select custom. And then I can do every 3 months. Okay, you're going to create a brand new task because these other ones should be marked off every quarter. So you want a brand new task. And then you want to make sure that that new task goes back to this beginning status right here and click save. So now this one's set for every 3 months as well. So priority level, that's just up to you if you feel like that's helpful for you to make sure you are triaging your tasks. Comments might not be necessary. Again, if you are working on your own, you can hide that. Anything that you hide, you can show it again. So hide show columns here. So again, I can put back the, what did I take away? Let's see, assignee, I believe. All right, so that assignee can come back there. Now, I've added a recording day. So as these shows, here's our duplicate, as the shows are being scheduled, we want to make sure that we know exactly when these shows are going to be recorded. Okay, and then what day it should be published. So you might not have this date for a while, but once you have that in your communications, you can go ahead and add that to that task. So it's very clear on when you're recording the show and when the actual episode will be published or dropped. Once that episode is dropped, then you actually have a link to the show, which you can add right here. So this is a text box that you can just copy paste in that link. So that way you have that link in order to share on your other platforms. So for example, I would share my podcast on my LinkedIn. So I want to make sure that once I've done that, once I've created that post, scheduled it out, I can check mark it to let myself know it has been fully promoted on my side. If you have other platforms that you want to make sure that you are promoting, you can add a column, find the checkbox, and add another channel. So maybe I have a newsletter as well. Okay. So now we have a newsletter to check off as well, just making sure that you are maximizing this effort, right? All right, so let's go into the other components of this template. Yes, this is an entire system, not just one workflow, it's a system for you. So this is the list, okay, status list. And then the next is a board. So if you would prefer to work through your workflows using a Kanban board, and then you can use this view. So if you're new to ClickUp, these are different views of the same project. And I'll walk through each view. So again, if you prefer to use the board from left to right, that is an option for you as well. To keep this nice and tidy, you could go ahead and use the triple dots here and say collapse any empty columns. So you can actually see, all of your columns in one screen, and then it will just open up if you have to move one of your cards to any of these, okay? So I'm going to open that up so we can see it clearly. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is that I have an entire kind of notebook built out here so that you can see what you need in one place and have all of that documentation in one place. So this is a ClickUp doc. So think about it as a Word doc, but built directly into the system. How amazing is that? So first of all, I have an overview of how to use this template. The video I'm recording now is going to pop in right here, so you can always watch it. What is the suggested timeline? And I even have a built out suggested timeline for 1 month of this pitching process right here. All right, so let's dive into the next page, which is your pitch frameworks. I have the 8 pitch elements. This is inspiration from learning from May Key Sang, which she is linked below if you want to learn more from her. But she's done quite a few different workshops and such just about what should go into your pitches. And learning from her, I went ahead and created a pitch template for long form and short form. I have talking ideas and how to come up with those. Your show options, I went ahead and listed out what's the best steps to find relevant podcast shows to pitch to, and then you have a show bio. So template there. So again, everything is in this project or workspace for you. So next I have 2 different calendars. So on this calendar, it's just going to show your recording days. So a quick glance at when you are recording these podcasts, and then a calendar that's only going to show the publish date of that episode. So as you're putting in that data, it's going to show respectively on these calendars for you. Okay. I think that's everything about this template. I'm loving it so far. So are my clients who've been testing it out. If you want this in your ClickUp wheelhouse so that it is a set rinse and repeat process every quarter to make sure you are maximizing your marketing efforts, then definitely grab the template in the description below. If you are watching this as a template tutorial, then you already have that template in your wheelhouse, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so I hope that video was helpful in showing how you can organize and streamline the entire podcast pitching process. If you haven't yet, you can go ahead and grab that entire template bundle in the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and here's to turning that hustle into flow and building the business of your dreams exactly the way that you want to. I'll see you in the next video.